All right, Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that we will. Peace, love, and salutation to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I wanted to go into a quick lesson, going into something I was meditating on this morning. I entitled this Babylon is Backwards. So it's stemming around how everything in Babylon the Great is upside down, and primarily more so about this whole Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion BS that's going on. Whether, like I said, whether it's real or fake, a lot of this stuff be for popularity or distraction. You know, I don't really get into that celebrity culture or celebrity lives. I don't really be caring about that because at the end of the day, they're not important. But what goes on and what they do does affect the society, and it does affect the people around. And all it is just more so exposing the true nature of a lot of these American women, modern day women, you know, and more so the so-called black woman, the Israelite woman, because they are the ones mainly putting out content talking about um, committing adultery, you know, committing adultery on a man, taking sides for Megan Thee Stallion. And Megan Thee Stallion was pushing women to be adulterous. She was pushing women to be hoes, adulterous, disobedient, you know, wild, chaotic. This is just go and look up on Google what is hot girl, what is hot girl summer. Go and look up what is she pushing music, and go and look up the of course we already know what the song WAP is about, but you can still go and look up what Google or what AI says, you know, what it puts a song about, you know, like the description it gives about the song. And it lets you know everything that's being said and what's actually, you know, like her message, her agenda. So all these women are talking about how she suffered this, went through that, this, that, and the third. There's no shame. There's no shame in Babylon the Great. But according to the Bible, according to our culture, or Israelite culture, we had shame culture. We will put people to shame for wicked behavior. That doesn't happen over here in America. It doesn't happen in the right way. It's more people insecure. It's insane, really. And this is a quote. It's insane how many people are insecure about their appearance and not their character. You know, more people feel ashamed about physical flaws of something that you can't even change. And of course, you know, Esau had people go under the knife for a lot of stuff, but you're not supposed to make no cuts in your flesh. It's in the book of Leviticus. You're not supposed to make any cuts in your flesh. You're not supposed to get any tattoos, you know. But it's insane how many people are truly insecure about their appearance and not their character. And a lot with this whole Megan Thee Stallion thing, it just exposed a lot of the insecurities, or rather, the flaws of a lot of these women. You know, because according to the scriptures, a man can have multiple wives. He is not set to be monogamous. The Lord didn't create man, Israelite man, heathen man. He didn't create any males, even the animals. He didn't create males to be monogamous. You know, a man can have multiple wives. That's why women outnumber men in the earth. But people get on social media, get online, and you got men doing it too, but it's more so the women. They would get online and try to shame a man for his nature, his true nature, which is to be polygynous. Meanwhile, these women are siding with Megan Thee Stallion. But Megan Thee Stallion, again, is the reason why a lot of your daughters are whores, you know, or have that whorish mindset, want to do what she want to do, want to be rebellious. Women were created to be submissive to their husbands, you know. Or these women, they're not doing it. A lot of these women that's making those comments about Megan Thee Stallion are single, and they can't hold down the man. And the only reason why a man would even deal with them is just to get some bucks, you know, to get their body. After that, they back to being lonely, being on their own, you know. But I can't get no scriptures, but I will quote some, like in Sirach chapter 23. The scriptures talk about how what comes about of a woman if she has a husband, but she brings in children from another man, and that happens all throughout all culture. And guess what? You know, it's all considered, or it's all within black culture. All these things happen in black culture, and then when you talk about it, people want to make excuses for the woman. She want to say, "Oh, the man, this, that, and the third." Everybody wants to blame the man about the woman doing something wicked, but not the scriptures. The scriptures put everything in its proper perspective. So again, Sirach chapter 23, it talks about a woman when she brings in a child or children, especially sons from another man, even though she has a husband. What becomes of her, and what becomes of her, uh, everybody's gonna know about her. Everybody in the culture, or everybody in society is gonna know about her and what the Lord does into her. And a lot of times, those judgments be extremely severe. Because for one, it's a righteous anger and judgment of Yahweh Shema Shah, and two, it's to put fear in the rest of the society to not to do nothing like that. Commit adultery. That's extremely wicked. For a woman to have a husband, have a man, and you start dealing with another man, and especially if you get pregnant, that's extremely wicked. But see, in this modern society, when that happens, there's nothing that man can do but just leave. You know, or whether he married or not, all he do is leave. He can't express the true anger that comes from that. I think it's in Proverbs chapter 6, where it talk about the rage of the jealousy of a man. Jealousy is the rage of a man. You know, he can't truly process or express how what he want to do for something like that. Because there is a whole rage that come behind something like that. But that man can't do nothing like that in this modern day society. You get arrested, and they'll still look at you as if you in the wrong for wanting to do something to the man or the woman when she commit adultery on you. You know, but according to the Bible, that's not so. It said with Leviticus chapter 20, it said both that man and that woman shall be put to death. And it's gonna be horrible deaths. You know, it's gonna be dishonorable. It ain't gonna be nothing like peaceful or anything. It's gonna be horrible deaths. You don't wanna go out like that. You don't want your name to be stained. You don't want your family line to be cursed or stained. And you don't want to die. But those people become examples for the rest of society not to live not to live like that and not to do that. You know, but in this modern day society, women's empowerment, women's sexual liberty, all of that is pushed to the forefront and is glorified. And if you against it, then you get shamed. You get ridiculed. Just like they trying to do with Klay Thompson. Everybody, I even seen I ain't watched the video yet, but the brother from GMS Mississippi, elder brother Taza Wan, he even had did a video about how they trying to I guess like witch or whatever are putting like curses, or they trying to use witchcraft on Klay Thompson on behalf of Megan Thee Stallion. Like what kind of what kind of stuff is that? You know, and the witches are a so-called black woman. You know, so the thing is they're pushing that agenda, and really it's just to showcase the true nature of the modern day American woman. That's why when we talk about the 2/3 in the scriptures, the 1/3 and the 2/3, majority of the 2/3 are women. For part of the reason is because women outnumber men, so it's gonna be a larger population of women that be destroyed anyway. But two, these women are extremely wicked. These women are no good. The vast majority of women are no good. You can't do anything with them. Like the scriptures talk about, it talks about Matthew chapter 5, lost his savor, meaning an Israelite that lost his purpose, man or woman. If he's not serving your purpose, you're good for nothing. And the Lord can't do nothing with you, so He's not gonna give you over to a man of the Lord, so that you can be saved. Because that's the only way women will be saved. But you got the majority of women with this wicked modern day American mindset. They're gonna be destroyed. You know. and the mass majority of them are whores. You know, so you just, and I want to give an analogy. You just think about an analogy like this, because like I said earlier, I quoted, it's insane how many people are insecure about their appearance, but not their character. So you just think about like you got two different cars. One car on the exterior is it look good. You know, somebody been fixing up on the car on the exterior, and it looks clean. So you want to drive around town to show it off, but then when you get inside the car, it's dirty. It's got dust everywhere. All the seat cushions, everything inside of it is old. The radio don't work. You know, high mileage. All of this is representation of somebody's character. You know, and if you want to use an analogy of the women, the high mileage, of course, we know is going into the body counts. You know, the dust everywhere. They're not cleaning. They don't work on their interior. It's not being cleaned up. The brakes don't work. You know, they're not slowing down in that wicked lifestyle. So you can accelerate, but you can't slow down. You know, it just get worse and worse. And the person getting inside would be the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Abishai. The Lord doesn't, he's not going to enter, or help, like to say, wisdom is not going to enter into a malicious soul. You know, the Lord is not going to deal with somebody. He's not going to live within somebody that's not working on their inner man or their inner person. But then you have a second car. It might not look the best on the outside. You know, the frame, the body work might not, it might need work, you know. It might not be the best looking car. But when you get on the interior, everything works, you know. Everything works. And it actually looks nice on the inside. It's something that you would be willing to drive around and actually enjoy, regardless of how the outer frame look. You know, you might need little tweaks here and there. You know, you might fix a little this and that, you know, clean up a couple stains, replace the rugs, you know, little stuff like that make it a little bit more personalized, but make it better as well. That's the type of spirits, or that's the type of person the Lord is dealing with. Because the other person, the other car, the mirrors don't work. They don't have no situational awareness. You know, side rear view mirror don't work. You know, you can't move it. The side mirrors are missing, so that person don't have no awareness. And they in the car, they can't see around themselves, so they always in danger. That's how a lot of these women are, or a lot of people in general who not working on their character. You like a car that whose interior is no good, and it constantly puts the driver in danger. But a person that's working on themselves, their interior, their inner man, their inner person, the inside of their cars, it works, you know. And you make little tweaks here and there to get it together so it can be even better. But the exterior of the frame of the car, that's something that can be changed, because we're gonna get new bodies. You know, that's why the Lord is not concerned about nobody's outer appearance. You got a lot of people that's they really ashamed of being normal. You know, they have little physical flaws here and there, and they're ashamed of it. You know, but they're not ashamed of the type of character they have. You know, but like I said, our frame, our bodies, because even the frame of a car is called a body. You can always replace the body. You know, you can replace the body of a car. You can get a new frame, and that car be the inside and out would be perfect. That's what the whole Second Timothy chapter 3. You know, the last few verses. That's what they go into about the man of the Lord being perfect, thoroughly furnished into all good works. It's going into how that working on your character, working, letting these laws, statutes, and commandments conform that inner man. Because the Lord, He's going to give us new bodies. That's the frame. That's the new body. You know, He's going to give us new bodies to match our interior. But working on yourself is the main thing. And this society don't push that. That's why a lot of these women are trying to shame Klay Thompson when they should have been shaming Megan Thee Stallion for pushing that wicked mindset, that wicked agenda of women empowerment, women's sexual liberation, or women liberation in general. Because that's not how it's supposed to be now. A lot of women finna die single and alone, you know? And they're not finna just die simple deaths. It's finna be horrible, horrible judgments coming to the earth, regardless of these people, if people believe it or not. That's what's coming. you know. So a lot of people are finna be judged because they never worked on themselves, and especially women, they never worked on themselves to try to make themselves, wife material. So now you finna endure or suffer the judgments of Yahweh Shem Abashah that he's finna bring on this society without a hedge of protection. And the hedge of protection is a man. And like I said, with everything that's going on with this whole Megan Thee Stallion, Klay Thompson thing, it's further exposing and showcasing the type of women that you don't want to be with, brothers. You know, the type of women that we don't need, because again, Matthew chapter 5, I believe verse 13, they lost their savior. You know, they're not salted, they're not seasoned with salt, so they're not basically capable of being the type of women worthy to be saved and to start something with. Start a family, be a childbearer, because that's how the scriptures say a woman should be saved through childbearing. They're not worth it. So, I just wanted to kind of speak on that, you know. And shalom, all the people on the comment boards, brothers and sisters. It's the water for tuning in. Lord willing, to edifying lesson. On that note, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that were well. Love and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children that keep this word of sincerity. Until next time, shalom.